What if the conflicts we see today are only the beginning of something much larger? What if the wars spreading across the Middle East are not isolated events, but pieces of a much bigger puzzle? Why are so many global powers suddenly focusing on the same region, the same countries, the same resources? And why did the Prophet Tefilin warn that a time would come when nations would gather against the Muslim world like people gathering around food? Is the world moving toward a major global confrontation, or are we simply witnessing another cycle of political conflict? And most importantly, what should Muslims understand about these events today? Assalamu, Alaikum. Welcome to One Ummah, a channel dedicated to understanding world events through history, knowledge, and the guidance of Islam. In today's video, we will explore the growing tensions in the Middle East, why global powers are deeply involved in the region, the role of resources, politics, and alliances. Finally, what Islamic teachings say about times of great turmoil. But before we begin, remember one important principle. Islam does not teach us to fall into fear, conspiracy, or speculation. Instead, Islam teaches us awareness, wisdom, patience, and justice. Because no matter how powerful the plans of people may seem, Allah reminds us in the Quran, they plan and Allah plans. And Allah is the best of planners. Quran 3:54. Before we continue, if you want more content that explains world events through Islamic perspective, history, and knowledge, consider subscribing to One Ummah. Your support helps. Your support helps. No. Let's begin. To understand today's conflicts, we must first understand why the Middle East has always been the center of global attention. This region holds three powerful realities. First, energy resources. A large percentage of the world's oil and gas passes through this region. Second, geography. The Middle East connects Asia, Europe, and Africa. Many of the world's most important trade routes pass here. Third, religion. This land is the birthplace of three major religions: Islam, Christianity, Judaism. For this reason, every conflict here quickly becomes international. Throughout modern history, we have seen this pattern again and again. Wars in Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, Yemen, Palestine. Each conflict attracts powerful international actors. But the question remains, why does instability continue? Many analysts say the Middle East has become a stage where regional rivalries and global competition meet. There are several major actors involved. Regional powers, such as Iran, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and global powers like the United States, Russia, China. European nations each has its own interests. Sometimes these interests overlap. Sometimes they collide. The result is a complicated network of proxy conflicts, political pressure, and military tension. And unfortunately, in the middle of all this, the greatest suffering often falls upon ordinary civilians. More than 1400 years ago, the Prophet Muhammad warned that a time would come when the Muslim world would face intense pressure. He said, "The nations will soon gather against you just as people gather around a bowl of food." The companions asked, "Will we be few in number that day?" The Prophet 40 replied, "No. You will be many, but you will be like foam on the surface of the sea." Abu Dawud. This hadith does not predict a specific modern conflict, but it reminds Muslims of an important lesson. Numbers alone do not create strength. True strength comes from unity, justice, the faith, moral leadership. When these are lost, even large communities can become weak. One of the greatest challenges facing the Muslim world today is internal division. Political disagreements, ethnic conflicts, sectarian tensions. These divisions often turn communities against one another. But Islam strongly warns against this. Allah says in the Quran, "And hold firmly to the rope of Allah, all together, and do not become divided." Quran 3:103. History shows that when Muslims were united, they contributed greatly to science, medicine, trade, education, negotiation. But when division grows, outside forces often gain greater influence. Another challenge during times of conflict is confusion and misinformation. The Prophet fighting times IV described times of fitna, where truth and falsehood become difficult to distinguish. He said, "There will be tribulations in which the one who is sitting will be better than the one who is standing." Bukhari and Muslim, this hadith reminds us of something important. No, every conflict is clear. No, every narrative we hear is accurate. And sometimes, the best response is wisdom, patience, and careful understanding. When we look at the world today, many people feel overwhelmed. Wars, political crises, economic struggles. But Islam reminds believers that hope must never be lost. Allah says, "Do not lose hope in the mercy of Allah." Quran 39-53. Real change begins not only with governments, but with people themselves. The Prophet taught that societies improve when individuals improve their character, faith, and responsibility. Every person has a role within their own family, community, environment. During times of global tension, the response of a Muslim should include several things. First, strengthen faith, increase prayer, remembrance, and reliance on Allah. Second, seek knowledge, avoid spreading rumors or misinformation. Third, promote unity. Differences exist, but hatred and division only weaken the Ummah. Fourth, support justice. Islam commands fairness, even toward those we disagree with. Allah says, "Do not let the hatred of a people prevent you from being just. Be just. That is closer to righteousness." Quran 5-8. So where is the world? Will the Middle East experience greater conflicts? Will global powers continue competing in this region? No one knows the future, except Allah. But history teaches us something important. Every great crisis also reveals truth, character, and faith. For Muslims, the lesson is clear. War strength does not come from political power alone. Faith in Allah, unity among believers, justice and moral integrity, patience during hardship. The world may go through many storms, but Allah reminds us, indeed, with hardship comes ease. Quran 94-6. And as long as believers hold firmly to truth, patience, and justice, there will always be hope for the Ummah. If this video helped you understand these issues in a deeper way, support the channel One Ummah by subscribing and sharing this message, because knowledge spreads awareness, and awareness strengthens the Ummah. Assalamu Alaikum.